Krishna showing to his mother the universal form. Krishna showed the universal form to his mother within his mouth. Although Krishna has a small body, at this time, this past time, he's about 1 year old. Think of a small child that's 1 year old. It's pretty small, 1 year old. And within his abdomen and within his mouth is the entire universe. So that's pretty amazing. But that's because Krishna is the source of everything, and within him is everything. Within Krishna is everything. And he can sometimes exhibit I thought so. Okay. Within Krishna is everything. Sometimes it's manifest externally. Sometimes it's not manifest externally. But always everything, whether manifest or not manifest, is within Krishna. In an earlier chapter, in chapter 7, this is chapter 8. In chapter 7, Krishna was much younger. He was just a little bit more than 3 months old. And when Krishna was just 3 months old, he yawned. And his mother looked inside his mouth when he yawned. And she saw within his mouth the entire universe. That was chapter 7. Now this is chapter 8, and it's going to happen again. Only it's a very focused pastime. So around the age of 1, Krishna is engaged in childhood pastimes. He learned to crawl instead of just lying. And when he crawled, the same time he has little teeth, because before then he didn't have little teeth. And then one of the things that he did, as is shown in the painting, he would have fun by pulling the tail of the calf. And when he pulled the tail of the calf, they would be startled. And when they were startled, they would run. But Krishna didn't let go. He held on to the tail of the calf and went for a calf ride. And as you see in the painting, the ladies, seeing Krishna being dragged around here and there in the courtyard by the calf, they were alarmed. Oh, the safety of little Krishna. And he was just smiling and enjoying the ride. In this way, for 10 verses, 11 verses in this chapter 8, it describes the childhood pastimes of Krishna. And we're up to text 31, as you see on the screen. So starting with 32. One day, Ekada, while Krishna was playing with his small playmates, including Balaram and other sons of the Gopas, all his friends came together and lodged a complaint to Mother Yasoda. Mother, they submitted, Krishna has eaten earth. Now, the painting on the left side shows what happened before that. Previously, there was a complaint lodged to Mother Yasoda about Krishna stealing. And she didn't accept that Krishna was a thief, so she didn't do anything. And the painting on the right, there's some of the elder ladies pointing at that little naughty Krishna, saying he did this and he did that. Mother Yasoda's not so concerned. She looks pretty casual about it. However, because she's a mother, she has very much concern when she was told that he's eaten earth. This is commentary. In an attempt to awaken Mother Yasoda's anger so that she would chastise Krishna, another complaint was invented, that Krishna had eaten earth. Jiva Goswami makes a comment in his Krishna Sandarbha, Krama Sandarbha. Ekada, one day, while Balaram and the elder cowherd boys were playing with Krishna, now this is a little cartoon drawing. There's Krishna and Balaram on the left, and there's Sudama and Devaprastha on the right. They informed Yasoda politely, Krishna has eaten some dirt. Now, when mother hears that her son has eaten dirt, she's going to be concerned. And the concern is the concern of motherly affection, or vatsalya rasa. So the previous complaints to Mother Yasoda by the elder gopis didn't produce much, but now this is going to produce more than much. A taste of Vismaya. Vismaya. This is pastimes of Krishna. So part of this chapter is going to go into not only like the events, the chronology of events, but it's going to, the Acharyas are going to describe the movements of Krishna's potencies and how those potencies touch the hearts of his devotees. In this case, it's the elder gopis and particularly Mother Yasoda. And there's this vismaya, which means astonishment, the rasa of astonishment. So what is Krishna doing? What is Krishna doing when he appears in Vrindavan and performs pastimes in Vrindavan? What Krishna is doing is he's stimulating the love or the sentiments of the residents of Vrindavan. He does this at different ages. Now he's 1 year old, and so he decided he would perform a pastime that would create a particular emotion, astonishment emotion, vismaya rasa, created by what his friends were saying was a criticism. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti. Krishna was not scolded for stealing yogurt, but was scolded for eating dirt. Both were incited by love. So, Jiva Goswami's comment. Remembering a previous pastime, that was chapter 7, where Krishna yawned and Mother Yasoda saw inside Krishna's mouth the whole universe. That's the painting above. She's seeing the planets in the universe, etc. So Jiva Goswami is now commenting. Shukadev Goswami is explaining this new pastime. That's just when he's yawning and she looked in his mouth. Now, this verse, text 32 from chapter 8, has these two words, Ramadya and Gopa Daruka. So we're going to see several slides where the meaning of the words becomes important. Ramadya speaks of the friends of Krishna. It's headed by Balaram, and they're all well-wishers, and that's one of the arguments that Mother Yasoda uses when Krishna denies. Why would your friends lie like this? They're your friends. It's your elder brother. He's not going to just make up a story. So why would you think he would make up a story? So Ramadya, they're in this relationship with Krishna as his cowherd boyfriends, and Gopa Daruka. And the boys daily, Krishna would go and do mischief. She knew it. So she asked them, because they're a little bit older than Krishna, to protect him. Natural. Very natural. And so they understood the order of Mother Yasoda, and they were protective of Krishna. Of course, they would play together, but Krishna was the younger amongst them. They carried out the orders like wooden puppets. Daruka means a puppet, which is similar to Daruka, not the same word, but similar, young boys. Or Daruka can mean those who give joy to the wife of Nanda by informing her that Krishna had eaten dirt. Next, there's another commentator, a favorite commentator known by Hari Parshad Prabhu, who likes Hari Shuri. And Hari Shuri comments on this pastime. There's something that all the demigods, heavenly beings, and yogis have been waiting for. What's that? All these entities are waiting for the dust of Vrindavan. This dust has arisen from the cows and from the gopis' feet, but they want some. Krishna was listening to all the prayers of the heavenly residents, and even the residents of the lower planetary system, like Bali Maharaj, for receiving the dust of Vrindavan. So how are they going to get it? Krishna has all the universes within his abdomen, that we heard from chapter 7. Everyone will receive the dust of Vrindavan if Krishna simply eats the dust of Vrindavan. Because the universes are within his body. He eats dust of Vrindavan. They'll get some. Previously, when I appeared as the son of Renuka and Jamadagni, Renuka and Jamadagni were the parents of Lord Parashuram. One of the purposes of my appearance was to protect the cows and brahmanas. I served the brahmanas by retrieving the earth from the unqualified kshatriyas and gifted it to the brahmanas. One of the services of Parashuram. In this appearance as Krishna, I have done so much for the cows, but not much for the brahmanas. Brahmanas are dvijas, are twice born. Watch what's going to happen. Similarly, children have teeth and then they lose their teeth and they get second teeth. Those second teeth are dvijas, twice born. So that's from milk teeth and permanent teeth. So Sri Krishna now eats the dirt or the earth and gives it as a gift to the teeth, the dvijas. In this way, some service to the twice-born is accomplished. That's poetry by Hari Suri. So, Mother Yasoda, filled with maternal affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, she hears this report, Krishna's eaten dirt. Mother Yasoda, who was always full of anxiety over Krishna's welfare, picked Krishna up with her hands to look into his mouth and chastised him. Her eyes were fearful. She spoke to her son as follows. Text 33. We just got started in the chapter, or this pastime. So she's holding him, wanting to look inside his mouth. The other gopis, they're all affectionate, but Mother Yasoda is at the center. Yasoda held Krishna by the hand for fear that he would run away. She scolded him, but her intention was for his benefit. Now, when Krishna gets fearful, he can run. And when Krishna runs, it's hard to catch him. According to the Ishopanishad, he can overcome all others running. In this case, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, scolding and beating are nourishers of prema, not faults. This is the usual habit of the mother towards her son, and is not unjust. His eyes were filled with fear. Of course, it's a pastime. He has no fear. This fear in the Lord is an ornament appearing through prema, not a fault. Okay, so now we're moving on to the next verse, 34. She's scolding him. Dear Krishna, why are you so restless that you have eaten dirt in a solitary place? This complaint has been lodged against you by all your playmates, including your elder brother Balaram. How is this? It's mild, but a mild chastisement from Mother Yasoda can seem pretty heavy. Mother Yasoda was agitated by Krishna's restless behavior. Her house was filled with sweetmeats. Why then should this restless boy eat dirt in a solitary place? But he's restless and he would do unpredictable things, so maybe it's true. Krishna replied, my dear mother, they have plotted together and lodged a complaint against me so that you will punish me. My elder brother Balaram has joined them. He's a conspirator. Actually, I have not done this. Take my word as true. Do not be angry and chastise me. Now, that's not the verse. That's Srila Prabhupada's purport. So the painting, nice painting, very old painting. There's Balaram's got a nice cape on his back. Krishna's in Mother Yasoda's arms. And remember, from the beginning of this chapter, including Balaram, all the boys are a little older than Krishna. So they're kind of exercising their seniority and complaining to Mother Yasoda because she requested them protect him. So that's their, at least, ostensible purpose. Oh, unsteady boy with unsteady mind, did you eat dirt? Did you not get sweets in my house? Not in my presence, but stealthily you have done it. Your friends are saying this, so it cannot be false. So there's Krishna opening up his mouth. Balaram checking out the scene. And she's in this astonishment. Look at the expression on her face. The artist did a nice job capturing that expression. You cannot say they are saying that as enemies because they want me to beat you. Because even Baladev is saying this. He's standing right there saying this. So there's no doubt about this. Look at the two. They're very loving and affectionate. Why would he lie? That's her logic. Next verse. Lord Sri Krishna replied, my dear mother, I have never eaten dirt. All my friends complaining against me are liars. If you think they are being truthful, you can directly look into my mouth and examine it. Counter challenge. And Srila Prabhupada's purport, he quotes this verse. This means that sometimes a small child speaks lies. For example, he may have stolen something or eaten something and yet deny that he has done so. I mean, not ideal, but it happens. Children will be children. And so, commentary, only in Vrindavan, Krishna has the liberty to lie and have sweet and delightful pastimes with his devotees. And conversely, outside Vrindavan, one of his names is Satya. He never speaks a lie. He is the Supreme Almighty Lord Vishnu. Right? This young fellow? Krishna is an avatar of Vishnu, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He knew that. We just, for those of you that came a little later, he's the scholar in the audience here. And it's confirmed. Jiva Goswami confirms. He is the Supreme Almighty Lord Vishnu outside of Vrindavan who follows the Vedas. But in Vrindavan, Krishna has a license. For pastime purposes only. But it's loving exchange. So, in general, the liar capacity or tendency is part of the loving pastimes. Maybe some of you have heard, I've heard at least 150 times, Prabhupada quoting this verse from Shukadeva Goswami as he's narrating, not in this chapter, but in other chapters where the cowherd boys are interacting with one another. He just describes their activities, and all of a sudden he says, Krita Punya Punja. Who can say, Shukadeva Goswami says, who can say how many unlimited pious activities these cowherd boys have performed? Now, a very important teaching is that piety, piles and mountains of piety doesn't equal bhakti. That is to say it another way. Bhakti is independent. Bhakti is not dependent, just like Krishna is not dependent. Bhakti is one of Krishna's spiritual potencies. Specifically, Bhakti Devi is an expansion of Radharani, who is one of Krishna's spiritual potencies. So the movements of Radharani is not created by piety. Bhakti Devi, similarly, is not created by piety. And I'm saying it a few times because it's a common conception, which I'll call a misconception, that people who are eligible for religious life must, by the prerequisite, must be pious and pious and pious and pious and pious. And then with so much piety, they can be a religious person, which may be true about worldly dharma, and then there's paradharma. And paradharma is no material prerequisite. Bhakti is not dependent upon something material. It's not material, so it's not dependent on something material. I'm saying it like 16 times to hammer the point. But it's part of it's a very important teaching. We're not here because we're pious or we got freed from impiety by atonement and this and that and the other thing. That may have happened, may not have happened. But bhakti doesn't arise because those things happened. Bhakti is self-manifesting. Ahaituki apratiyata, in the language of the Bhagavatam. There's no material hetu, no material causal principle. Say it again. In the material world, there's cause and effect. Bhakti is not of the material world. It's not caused by something or checked by anything. I'm saying it 16 times because it's important to have the proper understanding. So when this verse that's written on the screen, and it's going to show up in the next couple of verses, that when punya can mean A or B. It can mean material punya, or it can mean transcendental punya. And is there a difference? There's a world of difference between this world and the spiritual world. What's transcendental punya? Because we all know what the other kind is. Charity, gifts to opening hospitals and schools and philanthropy and doing good works, etc. And doing that abundantly and freely and, as just a principle that you live by, that's punya. And what happens from punya? You prosper. The fruits of piety is Janma, Aishvarya, Shruta, and Shri, according to Queen Kunti, those 4 fruits of piety. Good birth, good education, good looks, and wealth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the fruits of piety. And bhakti is not the fruit of piety. It's from another plane. So the punya, that's the transcendental kind of punya, is serving the Vaishnavas. Transcendental piety, serving the Vaishnavas. And, along with serving the Vaishnavas, be careful to not offend the Vaishnavas, because that has its problems. But serving the Vaishnavas, or visiting a holy place, or chanting of the holy name, or service to the deity form of the Lord, or hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, or just like what we're doing right now, hearing the pastimes of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. That's transcendental punya. Then transcendental punya has the effect, far greater effect than opening a hospital, because it relieves the soul of having a body that may have to go to a hospital or get old and die and get feeble and, things that bodies do. Relieving one from that difficulty altogether, the difficulty of the cycle of birth and death. That's transcendental piety. So you do that. And the statement made by Shukadeva Goswami is, these cowherd boys that are playing with Krishna, wrestling with him and rolling on the ground and, doing things that cowherd boys like to do. Here's a nice depiction. They're sitting around listening to Krishna playing upon his flute. Sometimes climbing trees, sometimes wrestling, sometimes this, sometimes that. Notice one boy has this bag next to him. That's his lunch. And, they're just waiting for the time when Krishna finishes this pastime of playing upon his flute, and they're going to break out their lunch bags and enjoy sitting with Krishna the center, and they're just staring at Krishna, enjoying loving exchanges with Krishna. Krita punya punja. So those are the ones, Mother Yasoda is saying, those are the ones who are making this complaint. This quality, or telling a lie of the Lord, is greater than any other spiritual quality, such as truthfulness, purity, or mercy. No, those are good qualities. Look it up in Bhagavad Gita. Those are symptoms of piety. In the codes of Dharma. You should be truthful, you should be pure, you should be merciful. And Krishna's telling a lie is summation far better than all of that. Vishwanath writes, as his telling a lie springs from his bhakta vatsalya, he has no fault. Rather, it is the crown jewel of all great qualities. That is, it's a loving exchange with Mother Yasoda, so that she can scold him, as she's shown in this picture. And then, sure enough, he invites her to look in his mouth. She looks in his mouth, and something amazing happens. This lying of Krishna becomes a good quality, since by describing it, Shukadeva derives bliss, and by hearing, the devotees also derive bliss. Jiva Goswami continues in his commentary. He tries to stimulate Mother Yasoda's affection because he fears getting beaten. Now, he doesn't have fear who's going to beat him, but this is a painting from, we'll see again this evening, but it's the Damodar Leela. Mother Yasoda is looking at Krishna. He wants her to breastfeed him, and as she's starting to do that, notice in the painting over on the right side, there's a stove, and on the stove is a pot of milk, and the milk starts to boil over. And she, out of the corner of her eye, she sees the milk starting to boil over. So she sets Krishna down to rescue the milk, because the milk is for Krishna too. When she sets Krishna down, what does Krishna do? He becomes angry. He takes a rock and throws the rock at the butter pot. In the butter pot, the butter leaks out of the pot. He starts feeding the butter to the monkeys. He hears his mother coming back and he runs. The whole pastime, the Damodar Leela pastime. I did not eat dirt. There's different options. It could mean, since he only pretended to eat dirt, he spoke the truth. Others lied. Or here's another option. He spoke a lie in fear. And this was not a fault, because it's a loving exchange. Or he spoke a lie to give pleasure to special devotees, like the gopis and Mother Yasoda in particular. Or if he did eat the dirt, he believed all the signs of eating dirt had been removed. Or, Sanatana Goswami commentary, by showing something astonishment, he would distract attention from his act. So he's going to show something astonishing for sure. He shows universes within. The same pastime is commented upon by Jiva Goswami, great Acharya, in one of his 6 Sandarbhas called Priti Sandarbha. He makes reference to Krishna's displaying his opulence, like he did with the stealing of the calves and the cowherd boys by Lord Brahma. That's chapter 14. And when Brahma comes back after putting the calves and the cowherd boys in a cave, he comes back and he sees the calves and cowherd boys sitting with Krishna. He double takes, what's this? To put him in the cave. So he went, looked in the cave, and they were in the cave. Went back again, they're not only sitting with Krishna, but Krishna used his display of Aishwarya, or opulence, where, as you see in the painting, it's very well done. Each of the cowherd boys are sitting with Krishna, and each one of the cowherd boys manifested simultaneously a form of Narayan. And not only the form of Narayan, but all the opulences of Narayan with each one of the forms. And not only that, all those opulences were offering a cacophony of prayers. It was a big noise, as they were all offering prayers by the personified Vedas, in each one of the forms of Narayan. Pretty amazing display of opulence. So that's one of the activities of Krishna, and another is the manifestation of Krishna's Madhurya. And in the childhood pastimes, both are present. Sometimes, and sometimes not, the Aishwarya is exhibited, like when he opens his mouth and he shows the universe is inside his mouth. That's a display where he shows his Aishwarya, and otherwise it's just Madhurya. Madhurya is so strong it conceals the opulence, or Aishwarya. And that's Krishna's nature. Jiva Goswami writes, what is amazing in the pastimes is arranged by the Leela Shakti. So Krishna has many potencies, unlimited potencies. One of those unlimited potencies is his pastime potency, or Leela Shakti. And through the agency of Leela Shakti, Krishna does Leelas. This is one of them. He's complete in all powers while being attached only to the rasa in his pastimes. So that means, this is the sequence. Krishna has a desire. No, he's by nature, we have desire. But Krishna has self-fulfilling desire. He just desires, and as soon as he desires, it's called Shreshta, Swa Ishta, he desires, and then his potencies recognize the desire, and they start running here and there and doing things that he wants. But he doesn't have to say, Lila Shakti, could you come here a minute? I got some service for you. He just desires, and then the potencies, this potency, that potency, they act according to the prompt, the icha. And the objective that if Krishna is the transcendental objective, is love. He is, we discussed this, we're doing it again. There's no harm to do it again and again and again. According to Taittiriya Upanishad, there's a nice statement. Definition of the source of everything is rasa. Raso vai saha. Vai means certainly. Saha is a pronoun indicating it. So the absolute truth, it, or he, saha, is rasa. So that means within Krishna is everything. Just like within Krishna is the universe, within Krishna is everything. So rasa is within Krishna. And rasa means two. He not only enjoys himself, but he enjoys with his expansions. Sometimes his direct personal expansions, sometimes his plenary parts and parcels, the living entities. So he's enjoying pastimes with them. Sometimes his own shaktis. He expands his shaktis and he enjoys rasa in different unlimited ways with his unlimited different expansions. But the point is, it involves an exchange. Rasa, not as one-way street, it's a two-way street. There's the rasa, the Supreme Lord, and there's a living entity with whom he's enjoying rasa. And his energies are stimulating that enjoyment within his expansions, the living entities, or Mother Yasoda, or the cows, or the cowherd boys, or whatever, the trees and the water and the everything and everything. He is rasa, and he's moving about his spirit with his spiritual potencies in their fullness, and enjoying rasa as he exchanges with different entities. That's his pastime. It's really nice. I mean, when the understanding of what's going on becomes clear, it's like super fantastic. He's just enjoying pastimes. Kind of oversimple, right? There's got to be more to it than that. There's details and details. That's high technology. But that's the essence. He's enjoying rasa, meaning with his own rasa and his relationship with others. And that's Krishna's pastimes. And according to what we heard going back a few chapters, especially it's sweet in his childhood pastimes. Especially sweet in his childhood pastimes. Because those that are engaged with him in his childhood pastimes, it would spoil the pastime if they saw him as the supreme. So they don't see him as supreme. Even he exhibits his supremacy. They don't see it. Because the sweetness is so strong. So he gets away with all kinds of things. Lifting Govardhan Hill and showing Mother Yasoda the universe within his mouth. And she becomes, so it's a Vishmaya, we heard the term. He's exhibiting a pastime of astonishment. It's an emotion. But it's an emotion centered on Krishna, so it's a transcendental astonishment. There's the other kind, and the other kind is a reflection of the transcendental kind. And she is directly engaged with him and stimulating that emotion of love. And he's enjoying, stimulating the love of Mother Yasoda as he's enjoying her emotion of astonishment. And he's the orchestrator. It's like really nice. Pastimes are really nice. So let's go back to the text. Thus it is said in the verse, Isha Cheshtita. He performs pastimes which are skillfully arranged, though this is sometimes easy and sometimes difficult to arrange, according to the pastime. Now, for him, there's nothing difficult. It's just pastime. Back to text 36. When Yasoda challenged Krishna, if you have not eaten earth, then open your mouth wide. Krishna, endowed with the highest powers and with the highest sweetness, exhibiting pastimes like a human child, not completely giving up his powers, opened his mouth. And then comes the astonishment. Jiva Goswami writes, she then saw the universe. This was arranged by the Leela Shakti. But previously he spoke to make the pastime enjoyable. My dear mother, I have not eaten dirt. All my friends are liars. If you think they are truthful, you can direct your look into my mouth. That was text 35. But now we're on 36. This Shakti, that's Leela Shakti, nourishes the astonishment and worry, which increases Yasoda's vatsalya, her parental affection, both. And though Krishna seemed to tell a lie out of fear, his words, I did not eat earth, became true. Text 36, here's the translation again. We saw this already. If you have not eaten earth, then open up your mouth wide. When challenged by his mother in this way, the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, to exhibit pastimes like a human child, opened his mouth. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is full of all opulences, did not disturb his mother's parental affection, his opulence was automatically displayed, for Krishna's opulence is never lost at any stage, but is manifest at the proper time. Now, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish the chapter, because I'm on slide 58, and there's 106 slides. But I like to explain or take the commentary of our acharyas and help us understand by sometimes saying it 16 times, because there's certain points that are very important. And it helps to understand, as we know from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you understand me, you won't take birth again. Who in our audience knows the verse? Janma karma. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvataha chaktva deham purnar janma naiti mameti sarjana. So it's just a precondition. His divyam pastimes, his divyam birth, and his divyam pastimes. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti. Vit, to know. If you understand and know the transcendental nature of Krishna's janma and his lila, or karma, his activities, then purnar janma na. No more birth and death. No more birth and death. The end of the cycle of birth and death is finished just by understanding these things. So it's worth saying it 16 times. Because if we can actually understand it, you win the jackpot. Better than the lottery. No more birth and death. And you didn't have to pay a ticket, just hear the pastimes. Hear the pastimes from a proper source. There are great acharyas in Srimad Bhagavatam, certainly the text, and then the commentary on the text by qualified acharyas. And there's our ticket. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is full of all opulences, did not disturb his mother's parental affection, his opulence was automatically displayed, for Krishna's opulence is never lost at any stage, but is manifest at the proper time. Okay, so she's going to look inside his mouth. Prabhupada's purport. Without disturbing the ecstasy of his mother's affection, the ecstasy of motherly affection is, he's my little boy, and I have to protect him. And if his friends say he's eaten dirt, I want to make sure he hasn't eaten dirt because I want to protect him. It's motherly affection. So without disturbing her motherly affection, Krishna opened his mouth and displayed his own natural opulence. So here's Krishna sticking his finger inside Mother Yasoda's mouth. You want to see inside my mouth? No problem. Take a look. So there's various potencies. This is some analysis by our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, likes going into the potencies that are moving this way and that way, and mixing with other potencies that create the display of his pastime. So one of those potencies is his Satya Sankalpa Shakti. Satya Sankalpa Shakti. Sankalpa means intention. So Krishna has an intention that can't be checked. Satya Sankalpa Shakti. So what's his intention? Krishna was taking the form of a human child to perform mainly playful, sweet pastimes, which is another manifestation of his Satya Sankalpa Shakti. His Aishvarya, just like chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. Aishvarya it means his opulence, just like Vibhuti Yoga or Aishvarya Yoga. The yoga of the opulences of Krishna and how the opulences are connected to the source. Aishvarya displayed the universe within him or within himself in order to nourish Yasoda's prema with specifically this astonishment mood. And it worked. She was really astonished. Another opulence, Avyahat Aishvarya, means unimpeded, non-contradictory power. What was that? Krishna, afraid of punishment, told a lie. No, he's not afraid of punishment, and he didn't tell a lie. But it's a pastime where it looks like he's afraid of punishment and is about to tell a lie. And the lie was so she couldn't detect that he actually ate dirt, but he didn't eat dirt. How could this be? If he were open his mouth, the evidence would be found. Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur all agree. Inspired by the boar's power of Satya Sankalpa, which means he desires something and it becomes reality. This unimpeded Aishvarya, that's Avyahat Aishvarya, on its own manifested the universal form. He didn't have to do anything, this is the point. Icha. And voila. All kinds of things happen just by a desire. Yasoda, lost in astonishment, forgot to scold her son. It worked. So I could stop here. We're at slide 63 of 106. And it's now, what time is it? 12:35. You all look pretty patient. The kids already pretty much left, so they're doing whatever they're doing. A couple are still remaining. Here we go. When Krishna opened his mouth wide, this is 3 verses in a row, by the order of Mother Yasoda, she saw within his mouth all moving and non-moving entities, outer space, and all directions, along with mountains, islands, oceans, the surface of the earth, the blowing wind, fire, the moon, and the stars. She saw the planetary systems, water, light, air, sky, and creation by transformation of Ahankar. She also saw the senses, the mind, sense perception, and the 3 qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance. She saw the time allotted for the living entities. She saw natural instinct and the reactions of karma, and she saw desires and different varieties of bodies, moving and non-moving, seeing all these aspects of the cosmic manifestation along with herself and Vrindavan Dham. She became doubtful. This is the astonishment of her son's nature. Yasoda thought, how amazing! The same world that is visible outside is now also within the mouth of my child. Most amazing. Within this world, I can see Mathura Mandala, and within it, I can see Braja. Within Braja, I can also see myself holding the hand of my child. What on earth is going on here? She saw herself looking inside Krishna's mouth, inside Krishna's mouth. Gopal Champu. In all the 3 worlds, all the mountains like Meru, all the jewels, all the riches, all the planets, all of these cannot be compared to even a particle of Gokula. And the guru of Hari Suri wrote the following. In Gokula, there was a little tiny child who took a tiny quantity of dirt and put it in his mouth. See the results. Even a few particles of dust can turn into the whole universe. Prabhupada's purport. Everything is within the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:10. Maya jakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Everything in the material nature, or prakriti, works under his command. Because all these manifestations come from Govinda, they could all be visible within the mouth of Govinda. Another nice painting. There's Mother Yasoda looking inside Krishna's mouth, seeing the whole cosmic manifestation, including looking inside Krishna's mouth within Krishna's mouth. It's a good painting. She saw the universe in his stomach, since what he had eaten would be in his stomach. Sridhar Swami is referred to, says concerning a verse in the next chapter, So this is chapter 8. Next chapter is chapter 9. That's the Damodar Lila. The universe took shelter in his stomach. In the Damodar Lila, she couldn't bind Krishna because the universe was within his stomach. The universe composed of moving and non-moving entities is described. So that list was in that series of verses. She saw what has no form, such as mind, ahankar, and prakriti, by seeing their controlling deities, which are considered non-different from the invisible objects. When her son opened his mouth, she saw Braja along with herself and Krishna. Another BBT painting, classic painting. She's looking inside Krishna's mouth, and there's what she's seeing. Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Lord Brahma, all the planets within the universe, etc., within his mouth. Just as this entire universe, including you, was exhibited within your abdomen, so it is now manifested here, externally, in the same exact form. So over her shoulder, that's Balaram dressed in blue, and other cowherd boys here and there, enjoying the fun. Jiva Goswami writes, this is taken from chapter 14. This is the Brahma Vimohan Leela chapter. How could such things happen unless arranged by your inconceivable energy? By the inconceivable power of a small boy, simultaneously the great form containing the universe and small human form, which reside within the universe and which contained the universe within it, was shown. It sounds like double talk, kind of. But it's mystic display. She started having various doubts, and she worried about her son. She could see this because she was endowed with extraordinary powers. So what's next? Oops. Text 40. Is this a dream? Or is it an illusory creation by the external energy? Has this been manifested by my own intelligence, or is it some mystic power of my child? She began to argue about the reason for her vision. Was it a dream? No, because my eyes are not filled with the contaminants of sleep. Was it some illusion created by the devatas? Why should the devatas delude an insignificant person like me? Was it some mental derangement? No, because my mind is stable now. Or is it some inconceivable power of my son? Since Garg Muni said he would have qualities like Narayana. Garg Muni said it had to do with the name-giving ceremony in chapter 2 of Canto 10. And this is only chapter 8, but he made some announcements when he gave the names of Krishna and Balaram. And he said at that time, he will have powers or qualities like Narayan. He didn't say he was Narayan. He'd have qualities like. So maybe this is what Garg Muni was referring to. So what's she going to do? Therefore, let me surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offer my obeisances unto Him who is beyond the conception of human speculation, the mind, activities, words, or arguments, who is the original cause of this cosmic manifestation, by whom the entire cosmos is maintained, and by whom we can conceive of its existence. let me simply offer my obeisances, for he is beyond my contemplation, speculation, and meditation. He is beyond all of my material activities. So she's a Vaishnava. She took shelter of Narayan. Similar thing that Nanda Maharaj did in different circumstances. When the immediate cause cannot be ascertained, let us simply offer obeisances to the lotus feet of the Lord. So that was her culture, that was her faith, that was her training. That's what she did. Prabhupada's purport. Mother Yasoda concluded that the wonderful things she saw within the mouth of her child were due to him, although she could not clearly ascertain the cause. So here's Lord Vishnu and Anantashesha, and she's getting some realizations here. It is by the influence of the Supreme Lord's Maya that I am wrongly thinking that Nanda Maharaj is my husband, that Krishna is my son, that because I am the queen of Nanda Maharaj, all the wealth of cows and calves are my possessions, and all the cowherd men and their wives are my subjects. Actually, also I am eternally subordinate to the Supreme Lord. He is my ultimate shelter. When in doubt, take shelter. Even when not in doubt, take shelter. But certainly when you're in doubt, you take shelter. So there they are, Nanda and Yasoda, with their two sons, Balaram and Krishna. And the other cow boys look like little dolls, playing around here and there. Prabhupada's purport. Following in the footsteps of Mother Yasoda, everyone should follow this mentality of renunciation. Nice illustration. When we're getting there, we're getting close to finishing the chapter. Text 43. Mother Yasoda, by the grace of the Lord, could understand the real truth. But, then again, the Supreme Master, by the influence of the internal potency Yogamaya, inspired her to become absorbed in intense maternal affection for her son. Pretty intense already. Although Mother Yasoda understood the whole philosophy of life, at the next moment she was overwhelmed by affection for her son by the influence of Yogamaya. There was a momentary, the curtain pulled back and she could see what's what, and then the curtain closed again. Discerning the truth in this way, she desired to give up her sense of possessiveness. But then the Lord, as a small boy, thought, who will cuddle me? Who will hold me? When he thought in this way, because that's just a desire of the Supreme Lord, his energies start to work. The very form of affection for her son overcame Yasoda. Mai, in the phrase, gives the meaning of affection itself, prema, in the form of parental affection. Maya, here, indicates bewilderment. Yasoda became bewildered or blinded by prema. In this verse, the word Maya means by the Lord's potency, which inspires transcendental love for him. Not only did this Maya create a relationship, but produced special bhakti. It was filled with affection of thinking of Krishna as her son. Putra sneha, Mayim. Mayim means full, or the very form. Even if one knows the truth, such bhakti is hard to attain. Krishna was capable of doing anything. Two commentators share the same message. I'm getting close to finished. Immediately forgetting Yogamaya's illusion that Krishna had shown the universal form within his mouth, Mother Yasoda took her son on her lap, as before, feeling increased affection in her heart for her transcendental child. Now the curtain is being back to its normal position. As one forgets everything after a dream, Mother Yasoda immediately forgot the entire incident. As her natural feeling of affection increased, she decided to herself, now let this incident be forgotten. I do not mind. Here is my son. Let me kiss him. Mother Yasoda, very special. The glories, concluding passages. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are studied throughout the three Vedas, the Upanishads, the literatures of Sankhya Yoga, and other Vaishnava literature. Yet, Mother Yasoda considered that the Supreme Person her ordinary child. And then there's this discussion about the very, very, very special mood of maternal affection that Mother Yasoda has, surpassing the maternal affection of his mother, Devaki. According to this explanation, there's three purposes of the Vedas. There's one that we already know from Bhagavad Gita. It's to understand Krishna, or the Sambandha aspect. Acting in that relationship, Abhideya, and to reach the ultimate goal, Prayojana. Prabhupada writes this in his purport. Three purposes of the Vedas. The word Prayojana means necessities. Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. So, we have Prayojana, the perfection. Necessities is the explanation given here. The ultimate necessity is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And here it is. Prema Pumarto Mahan. The greatest necessity for a human being is the achievement of love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here's Lord Chaitanya embracing a tamal tree, because tamal trees are darkish in color, and the artist has made this nice depiction. While he's embracing the tamal tree, there's Krishna playing his flute within the tree, or at least the vision that that's what he's doing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here we see that Mother Yasoda is on the highest stage of necessity, for she is completely absorbed in love for Krishna. And because of her complete absorption in love for Krishna, the rasa between the two, because Krishna is rasa, and his reciprocation of love with her, because her absorption is complete, she undergoes a whole big range. As long as it's not in conflict with other rasa. In other words, there isn't a conjugal mood, it's just a parental mood, but parental mood mixed with others. The above Vedic purposes are pursued in three ways: Karmakanda, Jnanakanda, Upasanakanda. When one reaches the complete, perfect stage of Upasana Kanda, one comes to worship Narayana, or Lord Vishnu. So that's the Vedas, indicated by the four Vedas by name. And then they're with folded palms before the form of Krishna, offering prayers to Krishna. That's what the Vedas do. Vishnu Pasana, or Vishnu Aradhana. Worship of Lord Vishnu is the highest stage of perfection as realized by Devaki. So the painting you recognize, Krishna's appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, and he originally appeared in this four-armed Vishnu form. They offered prayers, and Devaki requested, please assume a childlike form, naturally, her maternal affection. How's she going to have a maternal affection for Lord Vishnu? It was not going to work. So childlike form, that'll work. But here, Mother Yasoda performs no upasana, for she has developed transcendental ecstatic love for Krishna. Therefore, her position is better than that of Devaki. Better, or with greater intimacy. Both are mothers with regards to Krishna, but one with a greater intimacy. So profound is that intimacy as she just becomes regularly overwhelmed in that mood. 3 more slides, we're done. Referring to Bhagavad Gita, as men surrender to me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects. One may be a karmi, a jnani, a yogi, and then a bhakta or prema bhakta. But the ultimate stage of realization is prema bhakti, as actually demonstrated by Mother Yasoda. Now, just one last thing. The position of Mother Yasoda is not a post. It's certainly possible through cultivation of pure devotion to assist Mother Yasoda, but Mother Yasoda is not a jiva occupying a post. She's Shakti, Tattva, eternally in that position. So there's no one like her. One can't become her either. And this is our concluding message. Mother Yasoda is in a very special position. This pastime shows it. And after this pastime comes the Damodar Leela. It's like a river that keeps flowing. And as the river flows, sometimes the water rises, sometimes the water falls, sometimes the water rises, sometimes the water flows. Sometimes it's very smooth, sometimes it's very rough. And the river keeps flowing. The pastimes of Krishna, they're eternally going on. They're never static. And then when the pastime concludes, it moves to another pastime, and then Krishna departs this world, and his pastimes continue in another part of the material creation, like the rising of the sun is always rising somewhere. Krishna's pastimes are going on eternally somewhere in each universe and each day of Brahma, and then the cycle moves around, and again, the next day of Brahma, Krishna appears. He doesn't get tired. and the pastimes are variegated. There's never the same. There's themes, and because of the theme, there's a certain exchange of love, a certain rasa between Krishna and his devotees. But there's variegatedness, and there's variegatedness, and there's variegatedness. It's never the same. There's a rasa, a type, that gets stimulated by the pastimes. And it keeps flowing. Rasovai Saha. Isn't it nice? And the good news is it's reality. It's not fiction. Not Harry Potter. It's not imagination. It's reality. The absolute reality. And somehow or another, it's being disclosed to us. We're a little slow to get it and become completely cleansed by that sound vibration and awakened completely to that. But it just keep on hearing and and engaging in service in prescribed ways. And slowly, the awakening of our eternal loving relationship with Krishna becomes our life. Who would say no? Let's see if there's some discussion. Yes?
I have a couple of points, Guru Maharaj, if you'd be so patient with me. One comment that was coming up for me was this point about getting the dust of Vrindavan. So the takeaway for me from that was specifically that if Krishna eats the dust of Vrindavan, then all of the people in the universe will get it because the universes are within Krishna. So that set a train of thought in me that somehow or the other, beg, borrow, or steal, get the dust of Vrindavan. So that was one takeaway for me. And the second point was, I forget, there's a one question that came up to me was about this as
Here while sitting here today?
Pardon?
Just today while sitting, a question came?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The description of the pastime of Krishna eating dirt and Mother Yasoda seeing the universe within the mouth, that, the curtain was open and then closed. I guess I'm not, I don't know the exact words, but it seems like Mother Yasoda feeding Krishna, loving Krishna, that is reality. So I don't quite gel with the description that the curtain is open and then closed. In other words, this is the reality, and all the other aspects of Krishna.
They're from Krishna. There's an aspect of reality in that they're from Krishna.
Aspect of reality.
There's an aspect of reality in all things, due to the fact that all things come from reality.
I agree.
Well, I'm glad you agree.
Huh?
I'm glad you agree.
I don't agree with the imputation that that is sort of like a higher reality, so to speak.
No, it's not a higher reality. Why are you saying higher reality? That's not in the text.
That's the question I was having.
Okay, but it's not saying that, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
But part of reality is everything is within Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
And so that which is within Krishna is on the spiritual and the material side. All potencies, spiritual, material. Aham sarvasya prabhavo, matak sarvam pravart. So that sarvasya means spiritual and material, everything.
Sure.
So, in other words, not just showing the universal form, but the whole, the spiritual reality is within Krishna. So that's not what she saw. That's not higher, lower per se. It's just that don't get carried away too far with this. It's just she's looking for, did you eat dirt? So whether he ate some dust of Vrindavan or didn't eat dust of Vrindavan, let me just finish.
Sure.
everything's within Krishna. Doesn't have to eat some dust of Vrindavan, so then the universe is now within Krishna because he ate some dust for Vrindavan.
Okay.
Just everything is within Krishna regardless of what he ate. And he's displaying. And the net effect is she forgot to scold him. She became so overwhelmed. So it was not just so he wouldn't get scolded, it was to incite the feeling of, which one of the verses, one of the Sanskrit terms at the very beginning, is stimulating amazement, astonishment. And so it worked.
I feel like I want to also shed light on where I was coming from. I have at least this specific aspect of the curtain being drawn on that reality, on that aspect of Yashodama seeing the universes within Krishna's mouth. So I've heard others, impersonal specifically, I'm speaking about, who basically take it that this part of Mother Yashoda's pastimes with Krishna are Maya too, and that's where the concern is coming from.
Oh.
So that's the reason why...
If you drink poison, you're going to feel some side effects from drinking. From hearing Mayavad philosophy, it's like drinking poison. And so some of that poison is in your system. So that's what you're experiencing. The poison of hearing Mayavad doctrine and hearing this with the lens of Mayavad doctrine. You're getting the effect of having drunk poison. So you need some antidote, for the poison antidote. Hear from the proper source.
I have one more question I'll ask later.
Okay, later. Let's see what's something else in the room here.
Ramaraj, there's a section in the 7th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, a discussion between Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narada Muni. Yudhishthira
and Narada, yeah.
Where Narada Muni is explaining to Yudhishthira Maharaj the qualities of a human being. And at one point...
This you're referring to the 11th canto Bhagavatam, where Krishna's giving instructions to Uddhava in relation to that conversation. That's what you're referring to?
I know that the 11th chapter of the 7th canto is a discussion between Yudhishthira Maharaj and...
Okay.
And at one point, many years ago, you had done a very deep dive into all the qualities. And these are defined as prereqs for, to come to a human platform first before, it seems, one can even see transcendence or reach transcendence. So on this point that bhakti is self-manifesting,
yeah,
you really, said it 16 times.
I nailed it.
So while bhakti is self-manifesting and not dependent on any mode of goodness qualities,
that's right.
For most of us, we need to become human beings even.
Yeah, okay. But there, one stroke, become a human being. There's the steps, then there's the elevator. Yudhishthira is a pure devotee. And Yudhishthira is a dharmic personality simultaneously. So to narrate to Yudhishthira about the steps would be natural, because that's what he likes to hear, the steps, the Dharma steps. It doesn't nullify the other, doesn't mean there's no such thing as the elevator method. So to take Canto 7, Chapter 10, 11, and say, that's it, doesn't work. You have to take the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is there's steps and there's an elevator. Or even even 3 times, even following Dharma in the steps, that's not sufficient. That doesn't give rise to bhakti. It may be, it is something, is likened to taking wet leaves and making wet leaves into dry leaves, so you can take a match to the dry leaves and make fire. But without the match, wet leaves or dry leaves, there's no fire. So there's the steps, but the steps don't cause bhakti. Bhakti is, it's not negating the rule, that bhakti is self-manifesting. And therefore there's so much in the Vedic texts dealing with auspiciousness, that you're referring to one section, Narada to Yudhisthira. And there's many other, indirect methods or step methods, because the indirect methods aren't even the steps. But it's, it's part of the same it's part. All of the Vedas have one purpose: to know Krishna. There's only one way to know Krishna, that's through bhakti. So they're meant to help one be ready when bhakti comes along to say yes instead of no, or maybe later. And just anyway, there's so many practical examples. What did Srila Prabhupada do? He didn't emphasize Canto 7, Chapter 11. Chant and become purified. Get in the elevator. Hit the top floor button, and off you go. And it was effective. I mean, led by him and inspired by him, and with the words and practical example of Achar and Prachar of Founder Acharya, he transformed people from, sorry states to elevated Vaishnavas quickly, without emphasizing these other things, because he put us in the elevator and hit the button. Now, some persons to put in the elevator, hit the button, they had a relapse. But it's not to say the person to follow the steps that won't have a relapse either. Something else? No, let's go around the room. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. It's just so sweet to see how these acharyas are relishing and churning deeper and deeper. And I'm just so appreciating. For us, we just read the pastime, okay, fine, be done.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing. I was thinking of that example of Dvija, the second teeth, and Krishna wants to give. I was like, wow, these are very little things, but it's just become so sweet. On that note, seeing Mother Yasoda's this curtain opening and closing, it almost seems like similar to what we are experiencing, Guru Maharaj. Of course, there is huge difference, Yoga Maya versus, what the condition we are in. But there are these times where we get these glimpses.
Yeah.
Like our true
Krishna's
position.
just encouraging us. We're covered. And every now and then, here's reality. Then the curtain closes again. So, Krishna's kindness. Yes.
Thank you very, very much, Guru Maharaj. It is so packed, and we are really very, very grateful for your research and presenting this in such beautiful pictures. I wish I could contain every piece of this forever, Maharaj, with your blessings. Maharaj, I just wanted to confirm if these two understandings are correct. So, like when Mother Yasoda is reasoning to herself, so I'm assuming that is the closed curtain situation, probably. And that's where she's thinking of surrendering to the Lord because he's beyond her understanding. So she's giving a lesson to the sadhakas like us who try to reason and argue sometimes. Just surrender to the Lord and don't speculate. And is that correct understanding?
That's one of many.
Yeah.
Sure. One of the main things is when she saw what she saw and she didn't understand what she didn't understand, what did she do? So that's a primary lesson from the whole pastime. Curtain open, curtain closed. It's the primary lesson. When we recognize something is beyond our reach, what do? Always, but it's in those moments, especially, just take absolute complete shelter. And we'll understand whatever we understand. Having a desire to understand, that's good. But the place of shelter is more important than understanding, not understanding, because it leads to understanding. It leads to pure bhakti, which leads to understanding.
And another, I wanted to understand, Maharaj, that like Krishna is in one sense taking the full possession of the internal, even movements of feelings and emotions of his pure devotees. So, because like their free will also wants that?
Because they what?
Their free will also desires to serve Krishna in whatever way he wants to.
Well, at different times it's different things, isn't it? I mean, like Arjuna saying no, and then Arjuna was saying yes for purposes of Krishna. So, in general, yes, but not always.
Just trying to understand
Even Arjuna saying no was Krishna's purpose.
Yes, that's what I was, because he's called as Rishikesha in Bhagavad Gita also. So I was through that angle also. I was trying.
So that what?
Through that angle also, I was trying to understand that he captures your emotions, feelings, everything. Like I personally sometimes pray to Krishna that please remove these feelings from my heart. So that is also one thought that is going in my mind, that Krishna actually can control and can possess everything what you have. And we want that to happen.
Your thought process started to wane. And it's not crystal clear what you're saying. To me, it's not crystal clear. Maybe it's not crystal clear to you. Maybe that's why I'm not getting it crystal clear.
So in short, Maharaj, my understanding is that Krishna can even change your feelings, thoughts, how you think.
Well, wait a minute. Are you saying we don't have free will?
And I'm saying that my free will also wants that.
Krishna doesn't get in there and start mucking around. Nice try. That's not love. That's not Krishna. We had this discussion at Northwestern. You were there. Mm-hmm. That one girl was, this one girl at Northwestern University, one girl in the audience had this thing that she kept saying it a number of times. If there is an omniscient person You can say God, but if there is an omniscient person, then everything is predetermined. And I said, wait a minute, are you saying you really don't have free will? It just looked like you have free will, but because somewhere in your heart or somewhere, there's an omniscient person, you really don't have free will because it's predetermined, because the omniscient person knows what's going to happen. And so you're scripted to desire this and say that and do this and the other thing, and there's no free will. She didn't say that, but, scratch the surface, and that's what she was saying. So as I got a little, strong with her about that's not the case, same with you. The way that you're phrasing, Krishna gets in there and it makes us desire and say and do. And that's not true. He reciprocates, upadrashta anumanta, but he doesn't muck around. Even with his pure devotees, it's still so the fundamental position is Krishna's happiness should be fulfilled. And so Jai and Vijay, they had a specific prayer, if you so desire, and he reciprocated with that desire, and then things happened. But it's free will generated, and it's reciprocated with upadrashta anumanta. So our goal is not to become impersonal. Entities that don't really have free will. We have entities that have free will. And even we'll go into what you're saying. So my free will is I want Krishna to control my free will. So I'm just a robot, and I'm just having free will feelings that are not really my free will feelings. They're just Krishna's free will feelings, because I only want to please Krishna, and he's giving me the right free will choices. And I select from the menu because there's only one menu. It's prescripted. That's not so. Nice try.
It's reciprocal.
Beware of impersonalism.
No, yeah.
It's covered, but that's where there is such a tendency. Mm-hmm. Free will is always operative.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else in the room wants to join in the fun?
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj, for the presentation. The words, the pictures were excellent. I was just thinking that the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. When I was thinking about how could Mother Yasoda see the entire universe in the mouth of Krishna, and so I was also thinking that how much is or what is the quantification of qualification of Mother Yasoda to see the universe in the mouth of Krishna? And I saw two answers to this question in the presentation itself, which I want to confirm if that is there anything more to it. One is that in the slide, I think in purport, Prabhupada says that she was a highly qualified devotee to see the universe. And there was a comparative analysis between Mother Yasoda and Devaki to say that Mother Yasoda was having that particular qualification. Is there anything more to it, Maharaj?
Well, let's go back to the thing that I said 16 times.
Yeah.
There's no prerequisite. You're looking for a prerequisite. And my response is, sorry, Charlie. There's no prerequisite. I mean, Krishna showed things to non-devotee demons. That know how they processed what they saw is something else, but it's not a prerequisite. The circumstance is where we heard it in the verse and then amplified in the commentary. Krishna wanted to exchange a loving emotion, a secondary category of loving emotion, primary, parental, secondary astonishment. So he did what he did because he wanted her to have that experience. And sure enough, she had that experience. And he did it the way that he did it because he wanted to do it the way that he did it. That's why it happened the way it did it. But the premise of your question was, I was listening to this, trying to understand what's the prerequisite, the prior condition that entitled her, and that my answer is there's no entitlement. There's nothing. And here's another version. How many different descriptions are there of the universal form? Many in the Bhagavatam. There's many. Just in the third chapter, second, third canto, Bhagavatam, there's several. There's what's described by Devahuti to Kapila-dev, to Kapila-dev to Devahuti. There's Canto 2, Chapter 1. That's another. What Krishna sees, what Arjuna sees, that's another. And what she's seeing is another. So it's a category that has different versions. And so why did this one see this and that one see that? Because Krishna chose to reveal this one to this and that one to that. It's a principle, Virat Rupa, the form of the universe. And it looks different, that the description is different. The experience of the person hearing that description is different, but it's a principle. And what's the prior qualification? It's not, there's no prior qualification.
Thank you, Maharaj.
It can be revealed and still not be seen. Just like the description is given by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra. What was Dhritarashtra's experience? Zip. Sanjaya experienced it because he described it. Mercy doesn't need a cause. It's an important detail, but mercy doesn't have a cause. Mercy is without cause. And it's a nice there verses and verses and verses and verses and verses in Madhurya Kandamani of Vishwanath Chakravarti describing what's the cause of Kripa Shakti being manifest in the life of someone. There's no material cause. There's a relationship, it's short. There's a relationship between Krishna and the living entity that has bhakti. Even a preliminary, so in 9th Canto, Chapter 4, there's a description when Durvasa Muni comes to to Vishnu, asking for relief from that Sudarshan chakra that's chasing me all over the universe. And Vishnu says to Durvasa Muni, now it's about Ambarish, who is a pure devotee. But he says, the devotee is in my heart and I'm in their heart. I want nothing but their happiness and they want nothing but my happiness. So if you've made the Sudarshan chakra unhappy, you better go to Maharaj Ambarish. Don't ask me for take away Sudarshan. You go to him. Vishwanath uses that example, not just, if someone of the category of Maharaj Ambarish, but a Madhyama. A Madhyama, that's us in the room. We're not Uttamas. Maybe, Kanishta Madhyamas, but, Madhyamas. Krishna gives his power of attorney to that person because they have bhakti, and he invests in them his bhakti shakti, his kripa shakti. You can give me. Go ahead. And they're enjoined by Krishna in the 11th canto Bhagavatam. This is like retelling Madhurya Kandamani, but the Madhyama, what we're supposed to do is give mercy to the innocent. Worship the Lord, make friendship with the devotees, be kind upon the innocent, and carefully avoid intimate association with atheists. So because of that injunction for the Madhyama, and he is carrying bhakti, the Lord then doesn't lose his partiality by telling the Madhyama, here's my bhakti, here's my kripa shakti, go give it. What's the cause? It's without cause. It's a fundamental conception. As the Supreme Lord has his existence, his appearance is not dependent upon anything material, and the distribution of bhakti is not dependent upon anything. So when he's showing Mother Yasoda, it's just his will. No prior qualification. Nice try. No, she was qualified so she could see it and understand it. And she did understand it. He's not ordinary, but then the curtain closed. She's in Vrindavan. She's seeing Krishna as her son. But it doesn't work. For Devaki, she could see he's the supreme. There's his forearm form. Hey, mother, Haribol. Symbols of Vishnu, get it? So she knew. Vasudeva knew, but he didn't disclose that to Nanda. He said, you better get back to Vraja and protect your son, because Kamsa's a bad guy. So they knew. But Nanda and Yasoda didn't know. But for the moment, the curtain opened. The Madhurya curtain. So she could see his Aishwarya, and then it closed. Then she couldn't see his Aishwarya anymore, because her maternal affection is overwhelming her. And Krishna wanted that, so his Yogamaya potent. So it's just reciprocation of love with her eligibility of intense affection of love. That was her eligibility to see what she saw, to inspire her astonishment. Secondary rasa. I'm kind of over answering the question, but it's just a nice topic. I think it's an important topic. Bhakti is independent. We're trying to be bhaktas, but you can't go out and get it. You can't go to the Kmart or Walmart or order it online or, something.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Kaushalya, you want to say something? I can tell.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, very, very nice presentation yesterday and today also. Now I would like to say thank you for everything, and this is really, really Lord Krishna is like, he has like inconceivable potency, and he is everything.
Yes.
So that is the main thing. So we just have to surrender very nicely.
Yeah.
And we have to like follow the instructions.
Yes.
That is the main thing.
Yes, you got
That's
it.
it.
Your
Hare Krishna.
your heart is very simple. You got it.
Thank you.
And
Hare Krishna.
just to add something that we covered some time ago, or classes ago, the acharyas say, they write, just by hearing, this is just very simple what we're doing. It's very, it has the nature and the potency to do two things: to cleanse away our distraction for worldly stuff and awaken a transcendental attraction. The power is there to transcendental attraction for the absolute truth, the source of everything, through his very sweet childhood pastimes. That's the net effect when we walk out, at the end of the, take prasadam and everything. That is the effect. Net effect. And, the more we do it with sincerity, then the more that's the net effect. And keep doing it, through our lifetime, keep doing it. And the detachment and attachment, detachment from distractions, material desires and stuff that material desires get attached to. And then the transcendental attachment, asakti, for Krishna. By this very simple process.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Okay, you get the last word. Here we go, up front. Just one, not six.
One.
One.
So the point about the Satya Sankalpa potency of the Lord, I was just understanding that it is based on the Swa-ishta of the Lord himself.
Yes.
And similar to that,
Yes.
I have a desire, and by that desire moves things, is what I've heard from my mentor. And it was tying into that when I desire, then that Krishna reciprocates with the desire, or my understanding now
Good,
is...
bad, or mixed.
Pardon?
Good, bad, or mixed.
Correct. And what my understanding is that the Satya Sankalpa potency of the Lord basically may reciprocate with my desire.
No.
No.
His Satya Sankalpa Shakti is Mamekam Sharanam Braja. And we can target that or not. Now, supposing it's not, or a mix, 3%, 5%, 50%, some percent, and some other percent. It's a mix, generally. He reciprocates, but it's not the Satya Sankalpa Shakti reciprocating with the not. He's sanctioning, but it's not the same meaning. It's what he wants. Nice try. But no. Okay, we're going to end. Srila Prabhupada ki.